Perspective exchange.
Perspective exchange.
Perspective exchange. This is okay. Welcome, one and all, to Perspective exchange.
Perspective exchange.
Perspective exchange. This is our host, Kai.
Our other host, Jeremiah.
Just call me Jer. If I catch you, I'll catch me, Jeremiah. I swear. I swear.
Well, why do I call you that then?
Because you're in the immediate circle. You're in the immediate circle.
Full name for people you actually care about. Nickname for people you don't.
Whoa.
I feel like that's opposite for most
Whoa. I never said I did not care about our listeners. They are what keep us going. Wow. They are the heart and blood of this podcast.
I'm pretty sure our ADHD is what keeps us going.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it does. Our ADHD, once you learn to use it, it's more of a superpower.
It is.
It's more of a superpower.
It is.
Than anything else, yeah. Like for instance, I can just finish people's sentences just really annoyingly and just catch that dopamine hit from that. It's great.
Yeah, that pisses people off.
Mm-hmm.
They hate that.
Oh, for sure. It's hilarious though, for me. And
well, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
No, just a little bit.
You're still laughing. Ooh, sorry guys.
Oh, just a little shaky. Just a little bit of the shakies.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Are you guys okay?
Had a little earthquake. Yeah. Today. So, we're going to talk about how pathetic sunfish are.
No, we are not. Why are you such a sunfish hater?
I'm not saying they're not necessary.
Just because you don't see their value doesn't make them pathetic.
They're like a certain Pokemon. I'm not going to say. We can bleep that
all
out.
Pokemon are important.
I don't know about that. But
what's the actual topics?
The actual topics are... Did you hear about DeepSeek? Do you know what DeepSeek AI is? It took over.
Like the deep fake?
No. So DeepSeek is an AI platform that China launched. And it took roughly $1 trillion from the US stock market. Because they basically made AI open source. So they made it accessible to the public. And ChatGPT had a payment service attached to theirs.
Yeah.
So that's what our handle was on the in that aspect of the market, in that area of the market, was the fact that they charged premiums on AI services. Also higher end chips, but China did it with lower end chips better than we did. So I also thought that was kind of a cool little side tangent.
I'm like fairly anti-AI.
Oh, me too, but it's very useful from what I've seen.
Because it uses so much resources.
Oh, it does.
Like 8 bottles of water.
I heard it uses an extreme amount of water. Yeah.
Which is not worth it in my opinion. At least not for public use. I don't think we shouldn't have it as a thing at all, but it should be for the disability community or whatever it is where it is actually leading to a better life for humans, because again, there's benefits to everything that we create.
Well, see, I think it needs to develop more to where it has more structure and containment in the right places, because AI is known to shift on its own accord. So for instance, DeepSeek already made a replication of itself that's 40 times smarter. And it has more features now. And this was in the past week from it being launched.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's, like I said, it's open source code. So you can get a snippet of it for yourself and teach it to do other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's good that it's open-ended, but if left unchecked, it could wipe out a lot of things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And we want, the modernization of technology to make it so that we don't have to work, because we shouldn't have to work like this anyways.
Yeah.
But in a current society where, if you can't get a job, you just die. That's also not ideal.
Yeah, you can't get a job. Sorry, pal.
Yeah, literally. That's, literally how it is right now.
It really is. Now, the job market has gone through a lot. It went through COVID. It went through a recession. It went through a ton of once-in-a-lifetime events that have kind of been happening on a consistent basis.
Yeah, we live in unprecedented times, unfortunately.
Yeah, we really do. And I have a suspicion that like people are getting like desensitized to these things. They're like, oh, asteroid's about to hit Earth. Great. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, as it is,
isn't there like 2 or something?
Less than 5 years until all humans can't survive on this planet.
Yeah.
Less than 5 years.
Yeah.
Unless we do something about it. So, like, I don't really blame people for not having, like, a care anymore. Like, how are you gonna not?
Yeah, just go live your life, dude.
You either care and you're, like, riddled with anxiety, or you care and you're one of those people who's trying to maybe change it. But, like, even if you're one of those people who's trying to change it, like I am, like, you can't be too emotionally invested in it not working.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of true. If you're not really, like, present in your own life, it's not going to really be the greatest life to begin with.
No, and you do have to, like, enjoy life while you have it, even if, like, regardless of... Because, like, at the end of the day, the whole saying of, like, nothing matters, like, that means that we get to apply the things that matter to us to our lives. We get to choose what kind of path we take, what this world's going to be, what life we choose to live, and, like, you can look at it the pessimistic way of nothing matters, so I'm just going to drink and smoke and party till my, life ends, or you can take it as, like, well, if nothing matters, then, like, I want to matter. I want the things I do to matter.
You assign value and purpose to your own life.
Exactly.
There is no purpose. Mm-hmm. You assign that.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of people, they're just stuck around waiting for something to come across, and they don't know that a lot of times it won't.
Yeah.
You have to go look for it. You have to go search for it. And I think when people learn to, like, stay in the moment and cherish what's in the present, they can appreciate the past more, the good parts of the past.
Yeah.
And they can anticipate the future with a more optimistic view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, at least for me personally, straddling the line between realism and positivity, so that, like, I don't like toxic positivity. I don't like when people are so overly positive that they ignore the traumas that are happening around them.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't help anybody either. But, like, I lived my whole life as a neurodivergent who wasn't diagnosed in the early 90s, 2000s. Like, that was, I'm sure, not the roughest time to be neurodivergent, but, like, bullying was recommended from our TV shows, from our movies. Like, Mean Girls was the pop culture of the day. And it wasn't, like, a satirical, like, how they remade Mean Girls. And it's like, oh my God, it's a remake. And it's all, like, satire. And, like, nobody actually treats each other that way anymore. Like, it's legitimate, like, we were raised on those kinds of, like, personalities, and, like, that's what we were meant to emulate, is to be a bitch or to be, like, mean to other people.
Yeah.
That's, like, how you get up in life, and that's how you, like, better yourself. And I never liked that.
Yeah, and I think there's a if you want to have, like, build good relationships with good people, I think you have to find a balance of just, like, keeping certain people away and keeping others closer.
Yeah. And
that way you won't really have to do that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, people also change. So there's gonna, I think that's what brings in new chapters in life, is new people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we should change. And, like, for those of us that do change, like, a little more rapidly, I think that's one of the reasons we don't tend to have people stick around. Yeah. Or, like, one of the reasons we like our circle smaller. Yeah. Like, I literally got where I set up in the city because, like, we just were not. It was not cohesive.
This is not working.
That friendship, that entire relationship had just gotten to the point where, like, it was all negative and no positive anymore.
That's what I had my suspicions, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't have the full picture. But I was like, my general observation was, like, once you start living with someone, you have to deal with everything that they do, and sometimes it's irritating. Yeah. For both parties.
Well, and we weren't just living together the last couple of months. Like, we've been living in close quarters in homelessness for 2 years. Yeah. And, like, that comes with added trauma bonding. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's why, like, I'm definitely not out here being like, and I was right and they were wrong. Like, no. Yeah. We both fucked up in different ways. We both, like, but at the end of the day, like, at least from my perspective, because everybody has their own, but from my perspective in the relationship, like I wanted to grow and I wanted to move forward, and I've always been that way since I was a tiny little person. I've been the type of person who just wants to better myself, and not because I'm trying to reach perfection or because I like think I'm better than people. Like I just want to always be better than the person I was yesterday.
So it's like it's like each day's a new race, and you try to beat your last PR.
And like it's not even like necessarily like every day's a race, right? Because some days it's literally that like I'm being better about self-care. I'm being better about slowing down and stopping when I need to.
And you know what I've noticed is like you're not going to tackle. It's not like you tackle everything all at once in one day. It's one day it's a new thing to focus on and really hone in on it and take the whole day to either hone in on that or to just better yourself in some way.
Yeah.
I think just focusing on one aspect of your life that needs a little TLC is more effective than just like spreading yourself thin and not really completing it at a acceptable progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're trying to do literally everything all the time, then you're not really making progress on anything because you're not putting your focus or your time into it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where that relationship ended is like, because I'm a relationship anarchist. Like whatever we end up being, we end up being. I'm never trying to force friendships or relationships or acquaintances. Like nothing. Like we are what we are, and that's that. And like,
I've noticed that's how you find the good ones.
It absolutely is. I stand for relationship anarchy out the ass. Like I love it. I think that it's the healthiest way to have people in your life. But like we had reached a point where like, and from my perspective, because they have their own perspective of how they're moving forward in life, but from my perspective, they weren't making advances in life. They weren't helping themselves. They were expecting other people to help them and not put that effort into themselves. And the relationship with us, between us, and just kind of with their life in general, like I had also been like their teacher for 2 years.
Yeah.
I helped them learn how to exist in society. I helped them learn about the neurodivergency, about being a DID system, how to literally do dishes and clean house and all of these things that it's not their fault they weren't taught that.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's never on the person who didn't know that, but also like I reached a point in my life where I'm done being a teacher. At least to a single person. I love having conversations. I love people opening their mind, but like I can't be in a personal connection with somebody and feel like their mother or their parent at any stage now. And so like that's kind of where it fell into, is like I felt like I had to parent them, and that's not what they wanted at that point. It's not what I wanted at that point. But like there was no escaping that dynamic after 2.5 years of like trauma-based dynamic. Like you need time apart from each other to be able to like,
for sure, yeah,
get away from that, you know. So like all the negativity, I couldn't handle it. They would constantly fight with me about things when I was just trying to like, again, still be helpful, still teach them the things that they didn't get taught. And like it reached a point where we like had a fight a couple months before they found their place, and I was just like I can't, like we need to stop interacting, because they've seen me when I get around people who like trigger, because I'm very firm in my stance that I am not abusive. I have never been abusive, but I will be reactively abusive when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or when I feel like I'm being abused. It will come back. I will match your energy. And I don't like that. I don't want to be that person. So when I feel like I'm being treated poorly in a relationship, like I'm at that point in my life now where the boundary is like, get out. Like, I love you. I wish you the best. I hope your table is full, but you're not eating at my table anymore. You know?
Like, you're good now.
Yeah, we're good. Like, and I love Rye. There's zero negativity towards them at all, right? Like, I know that I did things wrong. I know that in their point of view, I'm probably the villain in some ways. Like, I don't care. You know, at the end of the day, like, that's beautiful, in fact, because I spent a lot of my life, like, requiring that everybody around me loved me and that everybody around me approved of me. And like, why? Why?
Everyone's going to do it anyways.
They're going to think whatever they want to think. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. And like, at least if I know that I'm like who I like as a person, and if I'm standing in like what I stand for, then like I I can never be hurt by anybody like telling the story of knowing me.
Yeah, and as the old adage goes, like, people are more worried about themselves than they are about you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh.
Once you can, like, learn how to apply that, life gets so much easier. You just realize, you just put your shoulders down and just relax. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, most of the people you come across, you won't have in the next decade. Oh, yeah. Most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully the good ones stick around, but generally people come and go. So it's like, be yourself. Say something offhand. Say something funny. Chances are they're going to forget about it within the week.
Yeah.
So go be you unapologetically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I fully agree.
Yeah. So it's like you could conform to what society wants you to be, and then you'll just be a cookie cutter version of everybody else, or you can just be yourself and just realize no one gives a fuck.
Well, and if they do, you don't want those people in your life anyways.
Exactly.
I feel like that's like
no one's
important
gonna give a fuck about the pimple in the top corner of your head.
Yeah.
No one's gonna give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that, like your appearance, your style. It looks nice, but that's pretty much as far as it ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's good to express yourself and like wear whatever you want, however you want, but it's like it's not gonna impact your life to the point where it's like going to change in some profound way. You have to put in that work.
Yeah.
And I think that when people pour everything into those things, like their appearance and stuff like that, I think that they get caught in a loop. And they just stagnate.
Yeah.
Until they realize, oh, I just wasted a bunch of time. Let's get back on track. You know what I mean?
I have been so far removed from like the superficial like imaging. Like it's been probably 2 decades now since I've like even thought about what other people like thought about what I looked like, that I legitimately like forgot that that's a people.
But it's not even, it's not just your image, it's like how you do things, how you act, like for some people it's even down to like their mannerisms, like the things they can't help. Like some people get like self-conscious about that, and it's some of it's just realizing like, hey, it's not that deep. Like people aren't even really honing in on that. So
well, and again, if they are and they're being shitty to you for it, like one of my favorite sayings is criticism never comes from above. Nobody is ever criticizing you that is better than you.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that we're better than each other in any ways, but like if you've done your healing and you're able to authentically express yourself and you're getting shit on for authentically expressing yourself once you've like healed that trauma wound, like the people who are shitting on you for that have not done that healing.
Yeah.
And so like why, if you wouldn't take advice from that person, why on earth would you ever take criticism
exactly,
from them?
Yeah. So careful who you listen to is basically what it boils down to. So it's careful what you internalize. Careful what you internalize, because there's believe it or not, there are some things you do want to internalize, like someone expressing that they love and care about you. It's okay to internalize that.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? I think people always talk about the negative aspect of that, and no one really touches on how it can be used as a tool as well. You know what I mean?
I think that's dangerous too, though.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Like we don't have a healthy base for like the stereotypical relationships in our society, any of them.
Yeah.
Friendships, romantic relationships, family relationships, like every single, in our society in America, every single one of those is based on toxicity.
Yeah, lately it's been kind of a wash, but I think it'll go in waves. I've noticed a lot of history goes in waves. So I think it'll create times of like distress and turmoil. And then I think once we have more strong-minded people leading the way and setting the trends, I think that's when we'll have the upswing in those areas.
Well, it's incredible to see the younger generations. I mean, you're even part of that younger generation.
For sure, yeah.
Frankly. Like, it's incredible to see how your generation and younger has taken the leads of the generations before them, being like, hey, no, fuck your shitty values, we're going to create our own. And like, they really have.
Yeah.
Like the younger, like, I only have faith in the world because of the younger generation.
Oh, me too.
It's not because of mine or anyone above me. Like,
they're realizing they don't need all that old hate. They can let a lot of things go.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was generational, and a lot of it's been passed down, like their parents telling them like to stay away from certain places, people, and things. And I think they're just now opening their eyes and seeing that this just makes life shitty for everybody else, including themselves. So why hold on to it anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was one of those people as a millennial, but like my peers were not there with me.
Yeah.
You know, like when I decided to escape the cult that I came from, like leave my family, like I had to leave all of it. I had to literally cut ties with everything I knew and just hope that the few adults that I had seen living different lives and seeming happy, that they would be. Because I obviously wasn't happy where I was.
Yeah.
You don't cut ties with everything you've ever known if you think you have any chance of happiness.
That's true.
You know? So like clearly I was already to the point of misery. And I think that's like, for the most part, I think that's most of the millennials that broke away. Is like we were so miserable to the point of not even wanting to exist anymore that like that leaving all of that behind and trying a different path couldn't possibly be worse.
It's true. Like at some point you reach like a plateau and you can either go left or right and just see where it goes. Like I think you can just only go up at that point.
Yeah. Like it seems like you're at the edge of a cliff and you have to jump, but then you jump and you realize that there's no gravity there. Like you're floating instead. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? Why was I so scared of taking that jump?
Yeah.
Because all of those burdens are lifted from you all of a sudden. You don't have the parental expectations, the societal expectations. Like none of that matters anymore when you decide.
In a sense, you have to let your life go to gain it. And that can be that can be a very complex thing to do and very simple to say.
Oh yeah.
So
I was a certified control freak 7 days a week until very recently, and I obviously still have tendencies.
Yeah.
Because to an extent, that's who I am, like a little bit.
But you could also put that towards like administrative skills. I think you do have a very good sense of administrative skills. Yeah. So I think you could also use that to your benefit and to other people's benefit, as long as you keep the mindset from that I've observed. I think you have a very strong mindset in place that it's been driving you far.
I work it out.
Work it out. You're just...
I make sure I experience trauma at least 3 times a year so that it stays fit.
Lifting those mental weights, yeah. Yeah. Getting over those mental hurdles.
No, really, though, because, like, everything... I'm a huge believer of this, and people don't have to agree, but everything is neutral. It's 100% about how we use it. Like, especially with neurodivergency, because I do not believe that there is atypical. There is no neurotypical. We are, as a species, divergent in every way. Mentally, physically, everything. And yes, some of those divergencies lead to, like, different or, like, needs that our society doesn't currently meet. But they're only disabilities because of the society we live in. Like, my hyper-focus with ADHD is a beautiful thing when I can use it. Pattern recognition with autism, a beautiful thing. Like all of these are wonderful traits that we get shamed for because it puts us like a little bit outside of the box.
Just a little bit.
And what I've found is the more true reality of that is that we, like neurodivergent people, since we're not part of society, since we can't fit in no matter how hard we try, if we do try, a lot of us gave up at this point, but like...
Well, the funny thing is when you do try, that's when you come off as the worst. It's very hard to connect with someone when you're just trying. When you don't try, when you're just talking like this, it's a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park.
But like the way we can read people pisses people off.
Yeah.
Because it's not that we're missing social cues. It's that
we're catching all of them.
We don't get them. Like we see it all, and we don't care about them, or we just don't realize that it's taboo to not mention them. But like we're not missing the social cues.
Oh no, and
we're getting them.
and I do that at my work. So I'll read people, and I'll just see their social cues. I'll be like, oh hey, they don't want this item because they're not looking at it, or their feet aren't pointed towards this area of the room, so they're probably not going to go over there.
Yeah.
And so I'll read all that as they're walking up, and they'll just look at me like, how'd you know I wanted carts today? And I'll be like, I just a lucky guess.
If you've been there before, you're going to walk directly to the section
you're
going to go to too.
And so, yeah, it's just like you learn to read their little, those smaller expressions, and like when you show them something, they just grimace just a little bit. And that's your cue to move on to the next item.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's funny too, because that's only if they're playing by the rules of society.
Yeah.
Because you get another neurodivergent, and like all of that's off the table. You have to figure out what their specific social cues are.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of us, eye contact, terrible. Like you're either doing it way too much or you're not looking at them at all.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've noticed that every time you come in.
And eye contact feels so horribly intimate to me.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like I'm crawling inside somebody's fucking soul when I'm looking them in the eyes. So like I don't want to do that with everybody I come across.
Well, see, what I've noticed is like neurotypicals, they do enjoy eye contact.
Yeah.
They really do enjoy eye contact, because that means like you're listening to, it shows that you're actively listening to them and just giving them those nods like as a cue. See, the funny thing is I can do that, but I'll be somewhere else completely and I'll give you full on answers.
Yeah.
So it's like either you're present or you're thinking about like, oh, I want to make a grilled cheese when I get home. You know what I mean? Something like that.
The more I have to mask and present as neurotypical and do the things like the eye contact and the head nodding and all that shit, the less I can hear what somebody's saying.
Yeah, because it's like turning up the stereo when you're driving.
Yeah.
You know,
or turning it down when you're trying to find a place to look.
Yeah, yeah.
Or look for where you're trying to go.
It helps you see better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because there's too much sensory if I'm having to like look somebody in the eyes. Also, I'm gonna forget what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why are we having eye sex right now? Stop looking at me.
Right now. Well, see, like for me, I've kind of like learned to forego the severity of, well, not severity, the tension in doing certain things like that. I just like accept the situation for what it is.
Yeah.
Don't do that all the time, because that's not always a good thing to do. But accept the situation for what it is and act accordingly.
Yeah.
So like for having eye contact, hey, that's what's happening right now. All right. You're looking into my soul right now. I'm looking into yours. It's pretty cool. And you just learn to accept the things that you can't control happening around you. Mm-hmm. They're going to happen either way.
Yeah.
And what stress is it's not controlling what you can control. That's where stress comes from. So if you can start to work on building up your own willpower to complete tasks that you know need to get done, and if you get them done in a timely manner, your stress is going to diminish.
Yeah. I would almost argue that stress is a lack of trust in oneself.
Oh, for sure. It's your self-doubts, it's your subconscious like, oh, I should have done this, or oh, now this is going to happen because I didn't do this. Well, yeah. Your brain also learns from negative experiences through different chemicals it releases. So like when you do something negative, it's going to release cortisol into your brain. And then if you do something positive, it'll release dopamine. So the reward system is there to help guide you to do things that the body subconsciously knows will be better for it.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So like the fact that like some people's tendencies are just to like just stay home and just eat like shit. That's the body's way of preserving itself, because it likes those sugars, it likes those fats, those salts. So its natural tendency is to make you crave those things, and it likes rest because you're not exerting any energy. Its tendency is to store energy for later use.
Well, and I feel like that falls under the category of like, are you self-soothing or are you doing self-care?
Yeah.
Because self-soothing is the things like eating the sugary foods, the fatty junk foods, watching the TV show that you love or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's good to self-soothe, but that's not self-care. That's not actually taking care of your needs in your body. Like the self-care part is making sure you eat the balanced food, right? Not just like only veggies, because life shouldn't be sad.
You want to
like healthy.
Yeah, and so I think a good first habit to form on the road to get you out of those eating habits would be like maybe take a multivitamin, just throw that in there. You know, just like when you wake up in the morning, take a multivitamin. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't remember where I heard it exactly, but I recently it's been getting popular. Is like the thought process of I deserve a clean house, so I want to clean.
Yeah.
I deserve a healthy body, so I want to eat healthy food. I want to exercise.
Yeah.
And like reframing that from I need to do this, I have to do this, I don't get this unless I do this. Like all of those are that negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
Whereas like, and it's helped me a lot for like things that I'm one of those autistics that hates brushing their teeth. I do it twice a day, but like
it doesn't mean you're gonna like it.
It's literally like sensory hell for me.
Oh, I can imagine.
I'm 32 this year. Like it's so ridiculous in my own brain.
Your teeth are very white, by the way. Yeah.
I drink coffee like no tomorrow, so I'm sure that's not true, but
they are to me. It might be the lighting, great lighting, great lighting. But
like at the end of the day, it's like I deserve to not have my mouth be in pain.
Yes.
And that's why I want to brush my teeth. And like that's helped me get over that mental block of like I have to brush my teeth. I have to brush my teeth or my teeth are going to fall out. It's like no, I want to brush my teeth. I want to wake up with my mouth feeling nice. I want to not wake up with jaw pain, like
So, you know what I suspect? I wonder if so you know how like if you want to remember something, a good way to do that is to associate it with something. I wonder if you can associate brushing your teeth with something good, and then over time your mind will learn to...
It just ruins whatever I associate with.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's just one of those sensory things that's like, I'm never going to like it. It's just never going to be something that like makes my, like in the moment of doing it, it's never going to be like a good feeling.
Oh yeah.
But like, you just do it anyways. And like eventually you grow up a little and you get over it and things are less serious like that because like you've actually experienced things in life that are serious. Like,
yeah.
Like when at this point in my life, like especially because of being like homeless for 2 years, like if it's like I don't want to brush my teeth or I don't want to take a shower, I just literally remind myself, like there were times where I was literally praying to the goddess to have running water again, where I was literally praying to the goddess that I'd have access to showers again. So like I try to remember, and not in the toxic positive way, but like just when you were, especially as a neurodiverse person, when your brain gets into those little sensory like crazy habits, it's just good to like, you prayed to be at this point in your life at some point.
Yeah.
Like you worked to get
at this point it's just trouble in paradise.
Yeah. But you're still in paradise.
You're still in paradise. You're still got access to basic function, or not functions, what's the word I'm looking for? Basic utilities.
Yeah.
Basic utilities are kind of like it's like electricity, running water, heat, or central heating. I think those are like and a roof over your head, I think a lot of times are overlooked.
Yeah.
And I think those things are luxuries and benchmarks that show you how far you've come. So,
which is depressing because they shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be. It's awful that they are.
In our society, that should just be provided for us, because if we really were truly an advanced society, then nobody would ever be on the streets.
True.
But like, I do understand what you're saying. Like, it is that benchmark of like, I had been trying to get myself into a stable house.
Yeah, I shouldn't say benchmark. I should say achievement.
Yeah, and even then, again, we should have these things done for us by our government. That's the point of a government, is to take care of its people.
Yeah.
But since we have to take care of ourselves, like, it is just...
But also, on the same note, how rewarding was it to know that you had that kind of fight in you?
Zero. Yeah, no, I don't ever want to be called resilient or strong or anything for shit that should be given to me by the advanced society I live in.
That's fair.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit that I had to survive and fight for 2 years to get back to this place. I feel 0% good about that concept.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I haven't had nearly the experience you had, but I realized how difficult it is to, like, not have a car. I've always managed to keep shelter, but not having a car kind of affects the whole thing quite a bit.
Oh,
you can live with just the car.
Yeah.
You can live with just the car, but if you don't have a car, you'll lose your job, you'll lose everything.
I was 8 months without transportation when I was homeless.
Yeah.
No car, nothing. Like, literally just... Because the insurance companies were trying to fuck me over, and I was like, no, thank you, I'm autistic, and I have no job. I will just fight you for 8 months.
Yeah.
Until you give me my money. Because somebody rear-ended me. Like, it was not my fault. Could not even been my fault if I had tried. Like, they could never frame it around it as my fault. They hit everything that I was moving at the time, so I lost half of my earthly possessions from the accident.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they were still trying to be like, I don't know, the other insurance doesn't want to cover it, we're not covering it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So it's like, a car is so... transportation of any kind, right? Even if you can't have a car, but, like, the, like, privilege of a bike.
Yeah.
The privilege of even being in a city where there's bus systems. Mm-hmm. Because there was a point where, like, we weren't in the city because we couldn't afford to be in the city. We could afford to be outside of the city, but not inside of it. And so there was no bus transportation, you know? It had to be an Uber. It had to be paying somebody else to get me to the grocery store or whatever. Or paying somebody else to deliver it. Mm-hmm. Because, like, transportation is the cornerstone of life right now. Oh,
for sure. And I think if you live in a place where things are more walking distance, I think that helps quite a bit, because with that in mind, you can just get a bike or get one of the Lime scooters.
Assuming you have the physical capability.
Yeah, if you have the physical capability for it, because some people don't.
Yeah.
And then on top of that fact, like, at home, working at home starting to go away. Mm-hmm.
And they made it suck for everybody. Like,
they really
did. To constantly move their mouse, or, like, weird fucked up rules that, like, decrease productivity overall.
Yeah, because, like, if you put constraints on people that are working for you, their efficiency is going to drop quite a bit if they're not kept at a comfortable level. Because if you're not comfortable, you're focused on that, and then your stress starts to build, and that compounds over the day, and then you feel like you're about to explode at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So I think what they had going was just fine.
Yeah.
What they had going was just fine.
Well, they saw record profits.
Yeah.
And they were still like, no, not good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
We need you to also be miserable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, let's just add that in there, I guess.
Like, thanks for admitting it. It's nice when your abuser admits they're an abuser.
Do you have to move your mouse every couple of minutes?
It's so crazy. Like, I could never. This is, like, one of the reasons I'm so thankful that I, like, have the opportunity to, like, look for a job in my own time and, like, find my own, like, work that way.
Yeah.
It's like, because I can't.
You know what I would do? I'd just attach a little string to a fan that goes back and forth.
Yeah, people do all kinds of weird shit to have their mouse move. And, like, there's so many clever things. And that's the other thing. It's like, oh, well, this makes people more inventive. Like, no. Humans are inventive as a species. We're creative as a species. We want better for ourselves as a species. We don't have to add struggle to get those results.
Exactly. Well, I think it's the companies trying to put you into fight or flight mode, thinking that'll make you more productive, when in reality it will just hurt productivity pretty significantly in some cases.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
Well, it makes their ever-growing neurodivergent population, because we stopped killing neurodivergent babies somewhere in the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. So there's more of us now. Yeah. And, like, we get burnt out. Mm-hmm. We literally, our bodies shut down. The reason I got sick at 23 was because I was in fight or flight for decades at that point. Yeah. Like, literally decades, and, like, at least years where it never went down, to the point that my body... I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't doing anything but working. Mm-hmm. And I was young. I was like, oh, I'm young, I'm invincible, because that's how we feel when we're children.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's cool, that's fine. That's how you learn by becoming uninvincible, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, my body literally shut down, and for 2 years, doctors were just like, I don't know, nothing seems wrong physically, you just must have anxiety. And I'm like, I have anxiety because I'm dying and nobody can tell me why. Like, yeah, I definitely have anxiety, friends. I promise. I guarantee it, in fact. But that's not what's wrong with me.
That sounds more like dread than anything else.
At that point, it was hopefulness. Yeah. It was like, take me away, for fuck's sake.
Like you said, anywhere, you don't have anywhere to go but up.
Yeah. And like...
And look at you go, you're still shooting up.
I was literally at work yesterday, like the first day of nannying again or being a mother's helper or whatever. And I was like telling her, like, I used to be bedbound. So like I could literally never complain for the like quality of life I have right now. I'm not bedbound. Yeah. That was my only goal in life, was to be able to be upright and like live. And so the fact that I'm at the point where like I've started businesses, I started a whole ass nonprofit, I've learned new concepts, I've healed things that I never even thought were physically able to be healed. Yeah. Like, that is a blessing in and of itself. That, like, really just, like, humbles me when I'm, like, feeling depressed, you know? Yeah. Because it's like this... So much of everything about my life right now, I've prayed for, fought for, everything, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And it's just, like, one of those, like, you really do look back, especially the older you get, and just be like, oh my God. Like, especially mid-20s, like, right where you're at in life, it is hell. If you're in your 20s right now, I'm so sorry.
Honestly, mine haven't been too bad, I'm not gonna lie.
You're the first person in their 20s that I've ever heard say that.
Really?
Ever.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it's been, like, dumb luck, but...
Well, you do come from a fair amount of privilege, which helps.
Yeah.
But
I was adopted into it, so I was like, kind of hit the lottery like right when it started.
Yeah,
which I can't say the same for everyone, and that's okay.
Which is nice if you actually have one of the like very few adoption stories where it was like better for you.
Yeah, and a lot of them take a turn.
Yeah, as an adopted kid myself. Not great.
No.
Not great. Mm-mm. Would not recommend. In fact, the entire adoption industry is corrupted, and I hope that it goes away. Yeah. Because we should not be able to buy and sell humans. Yeah. Ever. Of any way, shape, or form. It's not that I don't think that tiny humans should go to responsible adults when they have no one, but there should not be an adoption system. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't be like, I want a baby. Okay, how much can you pay? What race do you want it? What features do you want in it? And then, like, they literally, like... My parents literally picked white babies. Yeah. Like, they wanted a little white boy with blonde hair and blue eyes, and they got my brother. Yeah. And then they waited 2 years to have a little white girl.
Now, I can also say adoption is, like... It can be useful and helpful at the same time. Maybe the way we go about it, not so much. But the whole concept of it, yes. Yeah. And I was probably one of the very few examples of it being good. A lot of it kind of takes a turn for the worse. CPS is called on multiple occasions for both parties. A lot of stuff happens.
Well, and even like I was adopted at 3 weeks, very young, infant.
Yeah, still. Me too, yeah.
And so, like, there was no drama, there was no anything, but I didn't... And I grew up with white parents as a white child, so, like, there was no cultural aspect that I was stolen from either, which I know adds an extra layer of trauma for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But, like, which I'm sure you even experienced to an extent, even if it was a good childhood, like, you were still ripped from a culture.
Yeah, like, whenever people ask me, oh, like, what's your family like? I was like... I have to like differentiate like which family, the one that I never knew, and believe it or not, I'm still keeping in contact with them. Keeping in contact with us, which is really cool. So, that's amazing. But at the same time, I consider like the ones who raised me, like they were there through it all. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say like it was a bad experience for me and growing up, I had very healthy childhood. So it's like I have nothing to complain about. I am very grateful for what's happened to me. Yeah. And I just wish that one day humanity will improve enough to where my story will be more widespread.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I did want to differentiate. Like, I think that getting children in the care of good adults is important, but like adoption as it stands just is so unhealthy. Like, we don't have systems in place to help impoverished families.
No, we don't.
We don't have systems in place for single mothers. We don't even have legal abortion in most of our states anymore. People are literally being forced to either die or carry babies to term that they don't want, which is going to lead to more abuse, lead to more selling of babies.
Yeah.
And, like, all of that's where it's, like, negative. But, like, it's not like... Because there are stories where, like, people want their children, and if we just had systems in place to support those people, like, they could keep the families together.
Yeah.
And, like, growing up not knowing where I came from was severely damaging to me because I didn't fit in where I was. And, like, unfortunately, my parents tried their best. I truly believe that, but they did not provide a safe, healthy environment for me to grow up in.
Yeah.
Like, I was severely neglected. I was severely abused. And, like, there's no... Like... It's not like that couldn't have happened with my birth parents, right? Like, I think that all parents fuck up their kids to some degree. That's just, you live and you learn.
Yeah, because, like, no one's a perfect parent.
No, and people aren't perfect in general. Perfect's not real.
Yeah.
But, like, if I had grown up with the parents who had me, who wanted to keep me, but because of the religion they grew up in, couldn't.
Yeah.
Because of the stigmas, because of XYZ things, like, they were forced to give me up. But, like, if there had been support systems in place, I would have known I was neurodivergent sooner. All of the little quirks and weird things that I do that my family that adopted me couldn't stand would have been fine because it was from the families that had me, you know? So, like, they would have
known how to react to situations like that.
They could have helped me regulate better. If nothing else, I would have seen adults who emulated what I was.
Yeah.
And therefore felt less like a freak, like an outsider.
Yeah.
And again, like, it's not on my parents for wanting children. It's not on my birth parents for giving me up. Like, it's not on the individuals in these systems who are trying to create better lives for their babies or to have a family or whatever. But, like, yeah, the systems we have in place for it are just so atrocious, so like criminally bad. And, like, it literally is buying and selling people.
Oh, for sure.
At the end of the day, because like, again, I do think children should be with, like, healthy families, but, like, until we actually have systems in place that support families, that like actually give parents the breaks that they, like, pretend that they give us, then, like, I would rather just adoption be, like, completely wiped off.
Well, the world's on its head right now, so I think once the dust settles, there will be more of that. But I wanted to say before we wrap up, so I can go grab some Wendy's real quick. Before we wrap up here, I just want to ask you, what would you, with all that we've covered, what would you advise the younger generations to consider?
Be authentic. Be authentic in a world that demands you to do otherwise. Yep. Because there is literally nothing, there is no other advice that will bring you as much joy. And as much tribulations and trials, too. I'm going to put it out there. Like, being authentic, taking your own path in life, it's the harder option.
Taking your own path in life is... Think of it like this. When you're going down a well-beaten path, it's easy to go down. But if it's, like, overgrown and if there's stuff in the path, you're going to have to keep walking down it to make it more well-traveled. Yeah. So...
but that path's beaten down because it was beaten, you know? And like, you will get beat when you walk down a
Oh, for path. Sure. You will get beaten when you go down a beaten path, but at the same time, it gets easier as you go on. Because if you can create things to keep pushing yourself forward, like passive and active income, working for you, you'll have more time to keep generating those things, and then you'll be able to help other people generate those things, and that will improve you and your community as a whole. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm really proud of the younger generation and how much they seem to be coming back into community.
Yeah.
Like, I I don't feel like I have much advice for the younger generation because I feel like they came down onto this planet knowing more than most of us do. Yeah. You know, like they came into such unprecedented and unbearable times, frankly.
There's a new, just world-shattering headline every day.
Oh, yeah. Several times a day.
Several times a day, yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
it's exhausting. And like...
It is rather entertaining, though. Just flipping through TikTok and you just see...
I got off it.
You got off of it?
Good job. They did the ban...
You're just like, that's
I deleted it. I deleted it the day before because I was like, dude, this feels like a toxic fucking relationship right now. It's like, will they? Won't they? Are they going to beat me again today? No, yeah. Daddy's not beating me today. Like, I don't want to be on a site that our president has control over, frankly.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a site that I care to be part of.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So it's just YouTube now.
Just YouTube.
But I do miss being able to get, like, actual, like, real-life events from TikTok. I think that it is... Yeah. As wild as it seems, one of the most accurate news sources that we have right now because you're getting first-hand accounts instead. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to wrap it back around with the ADHD, just being authentic, supporting your community, and something I almost said earlier about the like not caring what other people think is like put yourself first. Yeah. It does not make you selfish or bad. You can't meet your needs.
You can't put others ahead of you unless you put yourself first to begin with.
You need to, and if this is for all the neurodivergents that need really specific instructions, put your needs above other people's wants. Mm-hmm. And it is everybody's individual job to take care of their own needs. Now, we should be supporting each other as a community, but you have to try to take care of your needs first. Then once your needs are met, you can take care of other people's needs. And then if your needs and wants are met, then you can take care of other people's wants. Because you've got to put yourself first. Like the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. Like you only realize how much truer that is the more you age.
Oh, yeah. Can't pour from an empty cup.
No.
All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us on this segment.
Thanks for tuning in.
I'm going to go grab some food. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back
soon for another episode of Perspective Exchange.
That we will. Oh, wait. No, it's fine.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. That was actually pretty good. That was actually really good.